Hello. Hello, my name's Elara. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here with me today, exactly as you are. And thank you so much for giving me the space to be here today, exactly as I am. Hi. How are we doing today, folks? I hope you're taking care of yourself. I hope you're doing well. I can't tell you how many times I've filmed this intro saying pretty much like the exact same thing. I feel like I've had it like so thought out to the point in my head where it's like if it's not exactly what I want it to be, I just like let it fall to the wayside. So I'm just gonna like stop caring about what I want this to look like in a nice way. Like the whole reason I started this channel was to focus on like authenticity and vulnerability and things like that. And obviously, you know, there is boundaries you have with the internet, but I feel like perfectionism got a little bit in the way of me creating long form content, and also I got so hyper focused on curating short form content, and that's exactly what short form content is. It's just like curation. It's not picking up the camera and showing you what's going on in my daily life. So I feel like kind of that perfectionism almost slipped into this side of my creating. Anyways, hello. It is Sunday, August 11th, almost 11 o'clock in the morning. It's 10:45. This is just going to be like a few short like days of my life. For anyone that is new here, this is my cat Astrid, also known as Stinky. Few days of my life, little Sunday reset vlog. Who knows what I'm gonna get up to, because this isn't going to be a curated vlog. Like I don't have anything planned to be in like, oh yeah, I'm doing this and I need to vlog it. Like it's just going to be going through my life like normal, like usual. I'm gonna make the active choice, or the conscious decisions to let that perfectionism fall to the wayside and just find the joy in creating again, find the joy in vlogging again, because that's the whole reason why I started vlogging in the first place. Like that's why I started this form of content in the first place, to just have fun with it and enjoy myself. That's the goal, folks. That is the goal. It shows progress to consciously like acknowledge that and take steps towards letting those self-limiting beliefs go. In other news, I did get a Kindle, which honestly love. So cute. Currently reading Icebreaker, as you just saw, which I don't know, man. It's silly. I will not lie to you. There's definitely some lines where I'm like, what the fuck? And there's definitely some paragraphs where I'm like, this is reading like Wattpad. I'm 20% through with it right now. I'm on page 89. One thing I don't understand is there are 436 pages in this book, and already I'm on page 88, and I'm like, how are there so many pages in this book? We'll see what happens. It was like my top recommended Kindle Unlimited after I read Take a Hint, Dani Brown, which is like the second book in that Talia series. I've read the third one in that one, which was Act Your Age, Eve Brown, which I really like. I mainly read it because of the autism representation. That was literally the whole reason I picked up that book in the first place. I like her writing style. I feel like Talia's romance, at least in that book, was really cute. Some cringeworthy is okay. Like some cringeworthy when it's cute is okay. But Icebreaker, there are definitely some moments where I'm like, what the fuck? Especially with like Nate's point of view. Anyways, I did get a Kindle, which I'm so torn about because I really do love physical books. But I mean, I'm not the only one that grew up in the era of Wattpad. So I was like, especially growing up reading on like that kind of website, I can fly through books digitally. I really can. So I've already read 2 books with my Kindle. I've read If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. That was disappointing. I'm just gonna straight up say that. But I'm not super into Shakespeare. I went into it blind. I didn't fully know it was gonna be so centered around like Shakespeare quotes and scenes and whatnot. And then I read Take a Hint, Dani Brown, which I gave 4 stars because it was just like a fun read. I needed something that I knew I would like after M.L. Rio. And now I'm reading Icebreaker. Trying not to go into too many spoilers. I am the king of giving spoilers away whenever talking about a book. But as I was saying, I really do love physical books. Like I make bookmarks for Pete's sake. Like that is one of my best sellers in my shop. But I can fly through digital books. I really can. This is just so much more convenient to take with me places places. Like I find like I'm able to stick it in like my little kind of like crossbody bag and not have an issue carrying it around. While if I was carrying around like a 400-page physical book, I would most likely opt to leave it at home a lot of the times because I do carry around such a small bag on the daily. I've been wanting one for a while and I've kind of just been on the fence, like haven't bit the bullet, and I have a trip coming up next month where the base like definitely needs to be utilized, and there's going to be like a lot of like kind of leisure time. I know I'd want to bring like a couple books with me, so I texted my cousin who has a Kindle and I know has a Kindle and she reads just as much as me. And I was like, hey, what do you find you read more, like your physical books or your Kindle? She stated the reasons like I just told you. Like she reads her Kindle more just simply for like convenience and she's able to take it more places. Books obviously don't feel as big whenever you're reading them on a screen. I definitely have that big book fear. I get intimidated by big books really easily. I have the Kindle Paperwhite in agave green and I paid for the no ads one. Whatever. I was kind of under the impression, since I had Amazon Prime, I would already have Kindle Unlimited, but I guess that is not the case. At least like so far, I haven't bought any books on this Kindle. Like everything that I've read has been from Kindle Unlimited, and I do still have my library card. So I'm going to utilize that with getting ebooks. Like, see, that is like one thing, is like I don't want to perpetuate like physical books dying. Like I still very much love the physical act of flipping through pages, reading a physical book, the smell, the feel, the just like there's an extra coziness to it, especially whenever you don't want to be staring at a screen. It's after 11. I've been yapping for like 25 minutes, broken up into bits and pieces. So who knows how long this intro will actually be, but I need to make myself something to eat. I've recently been picking up some yogurt locally made at the farmer's market. Like the cows are from around here and it's made by a family around here. I don't know how to word that. I have the honey vanilla flavor right now. So good. So good. It doesn't taste anything like Greek yogurt you've had in the store. If you can find like locally made Greek yogurt, or I mean just even like yogurt, try it. It will change your life and you will probably never want to buy store-bought yogurt again. I made some homemade granola maybe like a week and a half ago, like 2 weeks ago. It's been so fun to make homemade granola. I'm gonna need to make another batch soon and I will try and film that process for you guys. I won't be making any until I get back from my birthday trip because I have enough to last me. Come with me to eat breakfast. Come with me. Hello folks, it's been a few hours since I last spoke to you. I got kind of hyper focused in on organizing my closet. Like, I mean, you saw me hanging up clothes and everything. I did a minimal closet clean out. Like, I really only got rid of a handful of things. The closet is still so full and I still feel like there's things I can get rid of, but if there's one thing I do, it's I hold on to clothes for sentimental value. Like, if I got it from, say, like a vacation, I'll hold on to it forever. I don't know really how much you can tell if it's organized or not, but I did it kind of like, back here is like brand shirts because I work at a dispensary, so you get a whole bunch of free brand shirts. And then I just have a plethora of tie-dye, and then it goes into like reds, kind of like earth tone browns, and then green, yellow, and then I have like one lone gray t-shirt, like a whole, just, I hang all my tank tops on one hanger to save space, so they're there. And then it goes into like sweatshirts, black, navy, green, yellow, red, you know, blue, and then it goes into pants over there, which are a little bit more kind of mishmash because I have a couple different pairs of pants on each hanger, so it's kind of harder to make them match up, but it makes me feel a little bit better than what it was looking like beforehand, because I really didn't have any like free hangers, and now I do have a few free hangers. But I haven't worn it in a year. I'm not gonna wear it anytime soon. Like, I've had ample time to wear it, you know? I want to read or I want to make some rings. It's Monday afternoon and I haven't really talked to you at all today because I've been at work. I work 7:45 to 6 on Mondays, so most of the time like that's gonna be a no vlogging day for me unless it's, you know, in the afternoon. I wanted to give a little reading update because I'm laughing at myself so hard because yesterday I said something along the lines of, I'm not sure how I feel about this book. It's a little iffy. I am now on page 327 of Icebreaker, 74% of the way through. All I have to say is this book is fucking cute. It took a minute to get into. Not like it, yeah, I was a little off put at first. Like, I wasn't really sure if I was gonna like either of them because they kind of introduced like Nate as a player initially. I don't get any of that energy whatsoever. Their dynamic is adorable and it is so fucking cute. I was reading this at work today, just like smiling down at my screen, and there were some moments where I'm like, I probably shouldn't be reading this during work. It's nothing like too steamy, too spicy really at all, but there are, you know, like some sex scenes, so it's like reading that at work, you're like I really wanted to give a reading update to say I have changed my mind. I am very much enjoying Icebreaker. Sorry for everything I said, Hidden Grace. I had to run to the town over to drop off an order for someone, so while I was over there I went to a couple of stores and I ended up picking up myself like a little birthday present, completely unplanned for. I now own my first pair of Tevas and I'm pretty happy with them. I didn't even know the shoe store near me had Tevas because they haven't ever had them before. Yeah, original Universal in this super fun like kind of like three-way earthy tones. I went kayaking for the first time a couple weeks ago and I love kayaking. That is so much fun. I am genuinely already like looking for myself a personal kayak and I want to go one more time before like summer ends, or at least like before it gets too cold. I am ridiculously picky about shoes. I'm ridiculously picky with my clothes in general, but shoes, ridiculously so. I genuinely only have 3 pairs of shoes. After kayaking, I was thinking to myself, I was like, Chacos or Tevas. So I posted a poll on Instagram. After posting that poll on Instagram, I went onto the Teva website, and actually I spent a little bit of time like designing myself a pair. Like, obviously I wasn't gonna order them, but I was like, I want to try these in person before I even like think about biting the bullet. I plan on taking these with me on my trip later this week, and we're gonna be chasing some waterfalls. So I'll be able to, I think, give a pretty good review on how I like these for like water activity, swimming, short hikes, because that's what we're going to be doing for my birthday. My camera battery is flashing at me, so I really don't know how much I'll be able to talk. But I did want to give a reading update because I finished Icebreaker last night, and I gave it, Goodreads only lets you do like whole star ratings, but I would probably rate it like 4.25 stars. Like 4.25 or 4.5. Well, no, hold on. Because the ending did kind of like weird me out a little, because I never would have expected that to happen, because she is such like a determined and independent person. I never would have thought that would have happened. And I feel like it was a weird trope to bring in, especially because like in the story she mentioned how she didn't really want to become that trope. I think I do give it like a solid 4 stars. Honestly, probably one of the few like TikTok hyped books that I've read that I actually wasn't disappointed by. Granted, I didn't even know what people on TikTok were saying about it. I just knew that it was popular on TikTok, which those people got Colleen Hoover famous. So I have a real hard time trusting their judgment. I'm currently, I think, bouncing between like 2 different books that I want to start. Well, I have 2 different ones downloaded. One was It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey, and the other one was The Friend Zone by Abby Jimenez. One is like kind of like a small town romance, and then the other one is I think like a wedding situation, and the main character is dealing with like infertility, which is something I haven't ever read about. So I do feel like that could be kind of like a very interesting aspect. Maybe like a little bit of like opposites attract vibe, just what I've gotten from the blurb. Yeah, I haven't started either of them yet. I just downloaded them earlier today because I went to go get an oil change, and I thought I was going to be able to read while I was waiting for my oil to be changed, but I ended up chatting it up with the mechanic. If I start one of the books, I'll make sure to show you all, obviously. Okay, I think I deduced it down to why. Let me preface this. Earlier, I was just sitting here thinking to myself about Icebreaker versus Take a Hint, Danny Brown. And like, granted, it's not necessarily fair to like pit them against each other per se, because they both have like very different plots, and you know, they're by different authors. But I was just thinking, I think like if I look them up on Goodreads right now, they both have the same rating. Like they're both under 4 stars. And in my head I'm thinking like, oh, but I liked Icebreaker more. But then I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, no, I didn't like Icebreaker more. I liked Take a Hint, Danny Brown more. And I was just kind of battling with myself about this situation, like which book I liked more, because I feel like one of them is higher rated than the other in a way. But it's like, I think I figured it out, is like I enjoyed the storyline of Icebreaker. Like I enjoyed the characters more, I enjoyed the kind of like plot and everything, but I liked the writing style of Take a Hint, Danny Brown so much more. Hannah Grace's kind of, I mentioned it felt Wattpad-esque. It just, I hate when an author tells me how a character is exactly supposed to look. Like that is one of my pet peeves. Or like they exactly describe their outfit. Don't leave some to the imagination, especially like a character. I feel like in Icebreaker that was done a lot. Like they were just kind of like plainly explaining the character, like describing exactly what they looked like and describing like exactly what they would wear and stuff too. And that's not my favorite way of describing a character. I think I've deduced it down to I liked the writing style of Talia Hibbert's book, Take a Hint, Danny Brown, more than Icebreaker by Hannah Grace, but I liked the overall like story and characters of Icebreaker more. I didn't start either of the books that I mentioned earlier. I started, it's called Road Trip to Forever by Chelsea Curto. For some reason, I got into my head that I was itching to read like a road trip romance. So I browsed around for a little bit. I typed in like road trip on the Kindle store, scrolled for a little, not too long. Nothing really like caught my interest. And then I scrolled on TikTok for a little bit, and there were a couple that like were mentioned and stuff. But as of right now, I am only reading things on Kindle Unlimited. Like I haven't paid for any of the books that I've been reading. There aren't a whole lot of, I guess, popular romance books with like a road trip romance trope. Like the only one I can think of off the top of my head that was recommended a good amount of times was Amy and Roger's Epic Detour or something like that, and I read that one a few years ago. I feel like the second half of this vlog is kind of turned into a bit of a reading vlog, which wasn't fully intentional, but that's just what I've been doing recently during my times of rest. It is really nice to just feel that like spark come back for something you enjoy so much. I'm gonna continue reading Road Trip to Forever for as long as my little eyeballs will let me. So